So I think even though I've given your name, what you said right there, yeah. I want you to tell us your name and what area of service in the church that you're in, and you need to kind of hold it close. But there you go.
Is that right?
Yeah, a little bit closer. Yeah.
I've never held a microphone.
Let me help you then.
So,
There you go.
there
You go.
I've
Now
never,
you got
okay,
it.
now
Yeah.
I've got it.
If you want to sing,
Oh, I
we're
don't
good.
sing that great.
Okay. All right.
But my name is Ann Doherty, and I guess my basic area is probably nurture.
And so let me just ask you one. So in that nurture, you've done kind of a particular kind of serve in nurture, which has been what?
The community care is that
Yeah, helping. You've been helping people who
helping people in Edmond, I guess you might say. I've just kind of an unusual way, and I won't take the time to go into that. I've just become involved in this community care, which some of you are familiar with, and it involves helping those in Edmond. A lot of people think Edmond is a real fluent community in that we don't have people who have financial needs, but we do. We have a lot out there who do need our services, and so when we were in the other church, Mary Schilling started this ministry. At that time, it was called Reach Back.
Sure, we want you to go into.
And I was, at the time, I think both of us were working as volunteers in the office. So when she'd go out of town, she'd ask me to kind of fill in for her if anyone called for help. And that's how I got started. And it's evolved, it's changed. It's sometimes we haven't had funds in that particular ministry. And I thought, oh, well, maybe the Lord wants us to go a different direction. But then it comes back. We
Like
always
kinda
someone volunteers.
different direction, like just stop helping people, maybe,
Well,
or different than that, maybe.
not exactly stop
So-
helping people, but
So let me. Well, how do you get funds for that?
it's kind of through God's grace and working in the hearts of some of our congregation members. People have learned about us through others, through maybe like our Sunday school class and other Sunday school classes. Gradually, it's put on their hearts to maybe send a check now and then to help this fund, and then
So let me ask you that. Have you ever helped anybody say that couldn't pay for their medication?
yes, we have.
What about like food?
We've helped with food. We've worked very closely with the Edmond Hope Center, and they have a pantry. We've helped in that way. Sometimes we've taken food, and of course we work with Skyline,
So
but that's not exactly in Edmond. But
do you think it's appropriate that we help people that are not part of New Covenant? I mean,
absolutely,
do you?
absolutely,
Okay.
we're all God's children, and Jesus told us to help the poor. And I just feel like maybe that it's all important. We have a beautiful children's building. We're bringing people in. We're helping people find Christ. This church is just amazing.
Okay.
But we do need to remember some priorities, and that's helping others who are less fortunate than we are.
Okay, let's move to Shelley.
I'm Shelley Johnson. I'm on staff as our Director of Adult Discipleship, and that's just helping with all of our classes, small groups, men's and women's ministries, young adults, whatever needs managing mostly.
Okay, we'll come back to you in a second. Okay, Keystone?
Keystone Youth, I'm on the adult discipleship team. I basically got started through Starting Point. Shelley here actually recruited us to join Starting Point and serve as the host couple for Starting Point. And then from there, we joined the Sunday school class, and the leaders ended up leaving fairly shortly. And so
Those suckers. Yeah.
And so we got recruited to kind of lead that class, and so we led that class for 4 years, and I've been on adult discipleship for 3 years now, I think.
So where'd you go to seminary?
AC's School of Seminary.
So I mean, like, if you're on the adult discipleship, which is about Bible study and theology, so don't you have to go to seminary to do that?
No.
So you kind of on the job training.
On the job training.
So are you saying that anybody could do that?
Anybody can do it, even me.
So That's interesting. So how many different so you started in Starting Point shortly, I guess, when y'all got really connected with New Covenant. So you haven't served in a whole lot of places. Is kind of what I heard. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right.
So, and Ann, I heard you say that you started as a volunteer in the office. So so part of the idea that we want to, if somebody's out there and they've not served, they haven't, because today, I don't know if you heard, but we're signing commitment cards to serve. Did y'all hear that? That's what we're doing. So if somebody's out there and they haven't served, we just want to give them an idea how that happens and how that starts, and maybe how many different places you serve before you really hit the place that you say, oh, this is it. This is where, because Ann, you started in the office volunteering.
I'll have to say maybe the first place in New Covenant where I started was with Jim Decker. And
doing what?
Well, he
So
was.
I'll just help you. I'm here to help you a little bit. That's
I
okay.
need all the help I can
Yeah,
get.
we all do.
Jim was delivering upper rooms to families or to people who couldn't always come to church, and he just kind of out of the blue asked me if I would like to do that with him because he was.
So Jim was a member of New Covenant, and so you had a member of New Covenant asking you, another member of New Covenant, to help in this. Oh, so that's one way that we could maybe, if you that are serving could ask somebody that's not serving, you can just ask them without them signing up on a card, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's good. Keep going.
That's good. Another way, in just kind of a small way, but I was sitting with some people, and someone had passed away in our church, and they asked me if I'd like to bring food to help in a funeral meal. So I kind of started that, became acquainted with people in that way, and then I'll have to say through Bible studies, it's been wonderful. Shelley's led us through so many wonderful ones, and just meeting people there, really becoming family with them. It's just kind of helped me grow and realize that service is part of my belief system.
So you've done these different things. Now, how long have you been doing this community care where you're helping people in the community? Like maybe a month or two?
How long have we been in this church?
At this location?
Yeah.
We've been here you started over at the other church. We used to have another church. For those of you that are, you didn't, anyway. So that's probably been, we've been here 12 years.
I guess it's been about 15 years. Time goes so fast when you get older.
So you did these other, it accelerates, is that what you're saying? Okay.
Absolutely.
Well, you still look as young and beautiful as you always have, so. So now you went through several things, but now you've stayed at this for 15 years or so. Have you thought about maybe, are you tired, or you want to do something else, or how does this fulfill you? What does it do?
I think what it's done is it's really increased my faith. It's given me courage. When I started out, I'd make a phone call and they'd tell me their needs, and I'd see what we could do to help, and it's led me on rabbit trails, kind of. Yeah. Just because of this particular ministry, I've learned to pray with others out loud, and because
out loud.
Well, suddenly it became apparent to me that it might help if we prayed when these people called, that they might.
Wow, that's a novel deal right there. Praying, yeah, that's good. No, I like that. Keep going.
And
praying.
The rabbit trails. There have been occasions when. Because of this ministry, someone would call and talk about someone who needed help in maybe a different way, and I've really become involved in the lives of a few people that weren't exactly people who called and said, "Can you help pay my electric bill or buy medicine or whatever?" And that has been it's taught me so much. Even with the ones that maybe have been what you might call a failure, I don't consider that a failure. Part of God's plan. I feel like He's helping us participate in life.
So you're here sharing today, and you're part of. There's a team, right? How many?
There is a team. Dee Dee Chumley helped for a long time, and then she became involved in many ministries for our church. services. Now Connie and Bob Moore are on our team, and I'm just thrilled with that. So we have 3 of us right now who are working on it, and so it's not a burden. It's just really a blessing for us.
So I might mention to the congregation, and I know you all know this, but and we don't always talk about this like we should, but on Communion Sunday, so we have 2 funds. Ann mentioned that we receive funds from people in the congregation to help people in the community. But the other way is the money that you leave when you come for communion, when you come and pray, that goes into a special needs fund, and we sometimes fund community care and other needs in the community through that communion fund. Does that make sense? Yeah. So we use that as well for helping people in the community. The money you leave at communion. So Shelley, tell us where you started in this. You're the director of adult discipleship, and so you must have gone to seminary and do that. And so where was it that you first started serving at New Covenant? I'm sure it was some theological.
It was storytelling and children's ministry.
You started in children's ministry.
Once a month, we had 3 little boys, and that's what I just saw the need. They have kept posting.
Like you and Larry had 3 little boys that you brought.
Yes, that we brought, and we. That's what I could do at the time, is serve once a month just during the Sunday school hour, and made some connections, started meeting people. And in that process, I saw another need, and it actually fit more. I'm a helper by nature, which is I like being behind the scenes. And just meeting other people's needs, and discovered that teachers needed supplies. And so I approached the children's director.
So let me stop you there.
Mm-hmm.
So you observed a need
Mm-hmm.
in the congregation that wasn't being met, and you kind of stepped up to fill in that gap of something that wasn't happening, and just kind of did that, and
Yes.
started helping teachers. And
Yes.
so another way that you serve, somebody could ask you, that was one way we identified. The other way, and there's probably you're hearing a whole bunch of other ways, but is seeing something that's a need that's not listed in a catalog or not listed in a commit card. Are you hearing what I'm saying? You may identify something that's missing at New Covenant, and God might lay it on your heart to say, we need to start doing this, and you take it on and become the advocate. So keep going.
It wasn't too long after that, we found ourselves without a children's director. And because of it's a really neat stepping stone when you look back and see how God brought me along in all of that. I just saw we were about to move, and we needed to find a new children's director. So I just found myself on teams helping with both of those, and really felt like that was God's timing and way. And little by little, I ended up on staff part-time children's ministry until the door opened for this.
So what we're saying is you could be a professional, full-time staff, church member, staff person if you just start volunteering. And that sounds
no pressure.
So again, it pays. Yeah, so we call it mercenary work. No, I'm kidding. But that's interesting. One of the commitments New Covenant has had is growing our own staff. And so Amber spoke in the first service. If I went through the list to tell you that of the staff people we have that came up through serving, and then that's the way we've resourced this church, is through the body of Christ, and that's pretty phenomenal. So let me ask you, we're kind of running close here on time, so let me ask you the final question is, how has this, and Ann sort of spoke to this, but how has this informed your spiritual life? How has this drawn you closer to Christ? Because part of our mission is to become devoted followers of Christ and serve as an important part of that. So how does that, Keystone, how has that drawn you closer to Christ?
I would say in a couple different ways, but I think one of the biggest ways is, one, anytime that I serve in any capacity that I've served, it's always been on a team in a community. And so there's been fellow believers around me that have poured into my life and really helped me grow spiritually. And not only that, it's also helped develop some of the tools and skills that God's given me as well. And so I think when I look back, the growth that I've seen through just me personally in serving it's interesting to see how God's used that as I've gone through different stages, kind of like Shelley said, of serving. And so it's interesting to see how He's going to use that going forward. Kind of excited to see what happens.
Well,
there.
we are too. You might become the senior pastor.
Those are big shoes to fill.
No, they're not really 8.5s.
Well, I've already got 11 and a half, so
We're gonna. I wish we had more time to ask more questions. This has been great. I hope it's been helpful to you to get some idea of the diversity of what it means to serve and the ways that you get started in serving. I mean, this is a kind of a formal process: commitment, serve, Sunday. But it happens in all kinds of more informal ways of just inviting other people. When we went to team ministry, one of the things that we hoped at New Covenant was that we would be encouraging each other and inviting people to be a part of our teams to serve. And that's the fabric of New Covenant. That's the fabric of the body of Christ. And so let's thank these friends for coming and being a part of this. Thank you, guys.